All right, so what can I quote? What song can I quote for this one? Love, there's so many love songs out there. And we could just, I'm in the mood for, no, whatever. Simply because you're near me, funny, but when you're near me, that's, yeah. Temporary love, okay. All right, so Song of Solomon, we'll start this. Proverbs was written. Let me take a drink. Yeah, I want to be clear about what I'm going to say here. Proverbs was written to the obedient will. Ecclesiastes answers the inquiring mind. And that now Solomon speaks to and from the loving heart. Now, the most interesting thing is that this is not, we call it Song of Solomon, but in the Hebrew Bible, it's Song of Songs. We have vanity of vanities, emptiness of emptiness, and now we are going to the song of all songs. And it's really saying something about, like, it's a testimony, just the title of the book is a testimony of the relationship that he is going to define here. And the thing is that Solomon wrote this, but he wrote this perspective. So pretty much the woman does more of the speaking in this than Solomon does. And that is a big deal because in ancient writing, like, the idea of a woman having a verse, a voice in saying things like this is like, it doesn't seem, we don't find much of it. But here in our Bible, like there's a great, when you hear the word puritanical, what do you think when someone tells you it's puritanical? You think of the Pilgrims. They dressed in black clothes with white bibs, and the women like wore these kind of things and covered every part of their body. And it's like, but what people don't really understand is that the Puritans, like in the area of married love and in the married bedroom, the Puritans were like anything goes. It's like, and they were really fighting against the idea that the Roman Catholic Church was presenting, that to be celibate is best, whereas the Puritans are saying, no way. God saw that it was not good for man to be alone. And then God gave the man and the woman a mission to be fruitful and multiply. So I think the question is, like, why is there such a lie about, like, Christians not enjoying this part of their life? Like, we are, there's a great myth that the Puritan thought pattern, which was not a denominational thought pattern, it was a thought pattern among like-minded believers, that the marriage bed is undefiled. Like, whatever happens there in the excitement of the moment between a husband and wife, that's the way it should be. God designed it to be passionate, pure, and powerful. And a byproduct of it is procreativity. Like, if I give them something passionate and awesome and exciting, then the result will be lots of children because they will do it again and again and again. And that's basically, like in Song of Solomon, is a testimony to the fact that men with their wives, husbands and wives, should do this again and again and again. And their passion should not grow old as their bodies change. And we'll see that as Solomon, that's the story. Some people talk about this is like this is like young love, that's what this is all about. It's like, what is it? Like summer romance and all that kind of thing. This is not summer romance. This is like the one true love of Solomon's life. Solomon had many women, but apparently this country girl that he met, a woman who spent a lot of time in the fields, so much so that she didn't like the texture or the coloring of her skin. Solomon found like deep and abiding passion for this woman. And she is, the Song of Songs is written about the 1 in 1,000 that Solomon found. He did find like one true love out of all of that. And this book is, and he let her speak. So we have like, if you have New King James, it sort of divides the characters into it. Like it's, okay, let's go on here. It's idol, this the idol, not an I-D-O-L, but this last, a dramatic, romantic interlude, before the prophets, like this was written before the prophets. And so, but this is a dramatic, romantic interlude for us before the prophets. There's a series of conversations going on and people talking back and forth. So there's the Shulamite, this is the woman, and this is Mrs. Solomon. Shulamite means that, she is the wife of Solomon, Mrs. Solomon. So it's like Paul and Pauline, Solomon and Shulamite. So that's the way it goes. So you find like these characters in here. The primary characters are the Shulamite does the most of the speaking. She talks a lot. The daughters of Jerusalem, there's like a chorus. They sort of ask questions and they're sort of a dramatic effect. They ask some things of her. And then there is also the beloved, who is Solomon himself. And then later on in the book, at the very end, when they visit her country home again, they're the brothers of the Shulamites speak. So if you have an old King James Bible, these demarcations may not be there, but if you have a new King James Bible, you'll see, who's speaking, and it's easier to understand that way. And it starts out like right away. It's like it gets right down to business about the romantic relationship. The Song of Song, which is Solomon's, the Shulamite speaks first. Let him kiss me. Come on and kiss me. That's what she's saying. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. For let me tell you, people may have gotten a lot of, they may have gotten a great buzz off some wine, but when you kiss me, there is nothing like it. That's exactly what she's saying. And she says that I can't get enough, I can't get enough. I want you to kiss me with the kisses of your mouth because your love is better than wine. It's like you might think that there's some strong drink out there, but let me tell you, when you've been kissed the way that I've been kissed, there isn't anything like it. And that's the, that's the beginning of the whole story, So an ode to Solomon's one true love, that's it. It's a natural history book too. It's like Solomon is like there's 21 plants and 15 animals that are and it's like you're going to hear some descriptions that you just can't, like, why would anyone describe anyone that way? But they do. They describe each other in an amazing way. And so the different people, I say, have the lines in the presentation that come here. So the Shulamite starts. The woman speaks first. And it's interesting. I know that there's a song and that Jesus is called the Rose of Sharon in chapter 2. But really, that's the Shulamite speaking. The Rose of Sharon is her. I am the Rose of Sharon, she says to her beloved. And I am the lily of the valleys. It's like, I am the one that you found and loved. And if you want to make the allegory and say something about who is the Rose of Sharon, I would say since this is between the groom and the bride, and there is a picture here of Christ's amazing love for his church, then the Rose of Sharon doesn't necessarily refer to Jesus Christ, although that you've seen maybe writings on that. But really the division here is that the beloved is so, the woman in this picture is so taken and so loved that she sees herself as the Rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley. Okay? So I think that answers a question on your exam, right? I think that you can finish your exam now there. That's your answer. Huh? The Rose of Sharon is the church, really. And the Shulamite is speaking. It's the woman speaking as the rose. Let's just read the passage there. All right. I'm sorry. It's behold, you are handsome, my beloved. Yes, pleasant. Like, our bed is green. Okay, that does not mean that it's gross with bodily fluids. Doesn't mean that our bed is green. It's not what it means. You know, when you see the word green, you think, you know, like the green machine from those drinks over there they sell, green machine, looks weird, tastes great. Our bed is green. It means our bed is fresh. It means our bed is fresh. It means like what happens in here is always exciting. Our bed is fresh. The beams of our house are cedar. I'm not afraid of the house falling in. I am the rose of Sharon. You know, this is what is helping her see herself this way? The relationship that's happened. Yeah. The verses I'm in, I'm at the end of chapter 1, verse 16. 1:16 is, beloved, behold, you are handsome, my beloved. Yes, you are pleasant. Our bed is fresh. It's green. The beams of our house are cedar. Our rafters of fir. Chapter 2, verse 1, I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valleys. Okay? So, that's, you know, you might sing that song, He's the lily of the valleys. Okay, that's very good. But the Hebrew rendering of Song of Solomon means that the church is singing that. The woman is singing that song to him. All right? And, okay. All right. So, let's see. Okay, so let's get some of these things out of the way and we can start breaking down the little explanations here. It teaches really the sanctity and beauty of marriage as God intended it. All right? And the nature of the union between the lover and the beloved. All right? So that's the nature of the union is purity. Andy Stanley has said this. Maybe you've read it or heard him say it, but purity paves the way to passion. It's like you want a passionate relationship, purity is the best way to get it. Like the Puritans, you know, they had a lot of children for a reason. Okay? If the, you know, Puritans' families were and they're talking about like sexual repressiveness in the Puritan community, and they call us puritanical if we like, you know, really in the marriage bed, undefiled. And the Puritans believed that the families should be, you know, husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church, and that should be an intimacy and a power and a passion that water could not quench, that death could not quench. It should be that. There's like these strong statements about the passion here. All right. Right, Christ here. Solomon's love of his bride is beautiful. It really is an illustration of Christ's love for the church. And husband, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church, gave himself for it. Ephesians 5:25. Okay, there's something about it. Like, okay, why would God put a book like this in the Bible? Because God knows that sex sells. He understands. He made us. She said here, kiss me because your love is better than wine. It's better than wine. Your kiss is better than wine. Kiss me again, please. You know, that's like, you know, that's like, guys, if you treat your wife right, that's what she's going to say to you. Kiss me again, please. And that's the kind of relationship you want. Let me tell you, you want that kind of relationship. Anyway, but God knows, like all the pictures in here, it's like, why would God say, like, if I talk to them about this way, it's going to connect on a great level. The devil is a liar, all right? The devil is a liar. He has tried to distort the beauty of the marital relationship, all right? Like Pastor Schaller likes to say, or whoever he quotes, like, you know, a fire is awesome in the fireplace. And that's the thing. Like in the fireplace, in the marriage bedroom, you know, sex is the most awesome thing there is that God has given to a man and a wife. Outside of the fireplace, it destroys everything. It burns the whole house down. But in the fireplace, you know, it warms, it does all that it does. You know, what can we say? We can say a lot of things about it, and we will. Anyway, all right. So this is a collection of graphic human love songs. I mean, the human life finds its, that's what it's saying. Human life God made it this way. It's like the devil is a liar. At the beginning of the book of the Bible, at the beginning of the Bible, he says it was not good for man to be alone. He said, be fruitful and multiply. It makes sense. If you look at the fall, they ran into the woods and covered up the very things that were designed for their mission on earth? What was their mission? To be fruitful and multiply. How are they going to be fruitful and multiply? By coming together again and again and again. That's the way you multiply. Things haven't changed since Genesis. It's like what happens now happened then. That's the way children happen. I mean, I know they seem to happen in the laboratory now also, but that's not, doing something in a petri dish is not the same as doing it in a fresh green bed, okay? As the Bible says, all right? So the devil is a liar. It's become perverted and it's been distorted, and the idea of the Bible's presentation on lovemaking has been distorted because the devil does not want it to happen in its proper context. Yes, it's very destructive outside of this. That's why the Bible speaks about fornication and impurity. Now, let me tell you something, okay? Your bodies are made a certain way, all right? There are people on college campuses today saying that casual sex is like really fun. I got an idea. I've got an explanation here. There's like sexual realism. That's a real thing today. And it's like sex is a natural appetite, so you should feed it. It's like wherever you can feed it. But, have you ever used a sponge? Like again and again and again? Guys in the dorm? Like that sponge that you got in October? Or, God forbid, August? You've wiped 47, you squeeze it out and you rinse it all out, but there's still stuff in it, right? There's still stuff in it. Like a sponge doesn't release all of the stuff that goes into it. Someday you just got to throw it away. If you treat your sexual life like that, like a sponge, like I'm just going to visit all kinds of places. What did we talk about? Proverbs 5 last week. Guys, your fountain is for one garden. Keep your fountain in the right garden. Everything will be fine. That's what it says. Come on. I know. See, I told you. You all blushing now. There you go. Like, your fountain, it belongs in one place. It belongs one garden. One garden, God will find that person for you unless you have the gift of singleness. And if you have the gift of singleness, you're not going to care about the garden. That's a good test. Do I have the gift of singleness? Do you want a garden? Do you want a wife? Yes, I do. Then you don't have the gift of singleness. Very easy. If you think you have the gift of singleness and you want God to give you the gift of singleness, then ask Him to take away the desire for a wife. Then that'll be fine, because your fountain belongs in one garden. That's not androlonis, that's Bible. That's Proverbs. Okay. Anyway, so the supreme thing. Okay. G. Campbell Morgan said this: the cool, calculating, mechanical man who does not like this book has never been in love and probably never will be. So it's like, if you can't, if there's somebody who just doesn't want to recognize this for what it is, then he really has that's what I'm saying, okay? When you fall in love, it will be completely. That's what I'm going to say to you. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It is not going to be it's not going to be a calculation on your part, all right? Just dismiss that, all right? Someone told you that, you're going to size up some woman over there. There she is. I'm in Bible college. I'm going to be a pastor in this place. And I am looking for a woman who can sing, because I'm going to need a song leader, and I can't really sing. And me and her are going to build a church, and she's going to sing, and I'm going to preach, and it's going to be really awesome. You're calculating in this mind, this woman is going to fit right there in my call. And, it doesn't happen that way. I got news for you. It doesn't happen that way. Look at Solomon. He's the wisest man on the earth, and look at the kind of stuff he's going to say about his woman. He's going to say, your hair is like a flock of goats, your teeth are like little tiny sheep, all washed, all those kind of things. That's not a calculating person. It's you can't calculate this. There's a reason why Proverbs says it's the mystery of a man with a maid. It's don't sit there and calculate and try and add up the person who's going to fit into your eternal purpose, because God is not going to reveal that to you. It's yeah, check, there she is. Knows the Bible, check, very good. Knows the Bible better than me, check. You know, like you're trying to figure this out. And you shouldn't look at women that way anyway. And you shouldn't look at men that way. He's going to ride in on a great stallion, or at least a, Toyota RAV5, RAV4, whatever it's called. At least he's got a brand new one. It's going to have heated seats too. He's going to push the window down. That's the kind of person that's coming into my life. And he's going to be ordained, and he's going to have a vision. He's going to have a purpose. He's going to have devotions with me every single morning. That's you pray for that kind of thing, but really, when it happens, it's like love is like a hurricane. When it happens, it blows you right out of the water. And it's a mystery. And it's like, and I know maybe you've heard other things like that, and they can balance that in your own mind. I'm not balancing it. I'm just telling you that if your toes aren't curling, you're probably not really in love. And I'm saying emotion is a part of it, feeling is a part of it. She's saying here, kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, because his kiss is better than wine. It's like, guys, you better be able to kiss her better than wine. That better be the way she feels about it, but like this idea of calculation and manipulation and trying to figure out who's the right person for me and everything like that, adding it all up. It's like that. It isn't that way at all. It's like it happens. It's like you cannot even be looking for something, and all of a sudden, there it is. There she is. You get a call at a radio station one morning, and boom, you can't stop thinking about a person. And so you marry her 2 years later, and 30 years later, that's my story. But, you just don't know. You can't be calculating, mechanical about it. All right. There's some love songs. There's some songs of marriage throughout the Bible. Psalm 45 is one. Hosea is a great explanation. Like, here's Hosea. God told the prophet to go marry a wife of whoredom and to pursue her like a relentless lover, because that's God's love. Isaiah 62 is about God marrying Israel. Jeremiah 3:14. There's a lot of passages, songs here. What's Jeremiah 3:14? We'll read it. This is at the beginning of one of the most tragic books of the Bible. God says, "Return, O backsliding Israel, says the Lord. I will not cause my anger to fall on you. I am merciful, says the Lord. I will not remain angry forever." This is 3:14. "Return, O backsliding children, for I am married to you. I will take you from one city and two from a family, and I will bring you to Zion." So all of this picture, there's songs of love and marriage throughout of this, all right? True love is a sense of mystery. It's a sense of mystery, and the purity will pave the way. Keep yourself pure, and that'll pave the way for your passion. If there's a lack of passion, if you find this later on in your life, and if you're married right now, you find this later on, if there's a lack of passion in your marriage, then it may be that there's some sort of impurity in the system. Like, you may be thinking of something. Your fantasies may be getting the best of you. Your wife isn't your sexual fantasy. You got to deal with that. It's like there's a lot of images flying at you. You watch a football game, you get about 345 in the first half. Just all the dancing girls and everything. You got to get that out of your mind. You can't let that creep into your system. Your passion is failing because the impurity. Purity paves the way to passion. All right. So the song of love here talks about the foundation of love. It's expressed. The strength of love is revealed. The methods of love are indicated. And then the experiences of love are described. Okay, so the foundation really is this intimacy that they have. There is an emotional and a spiritual harmony between these two. And then there's a strength of this. There's a strength there. And then the methods. Like, this book is full of methods. Like what's happening in the bedroom. There's a book there. These things are happening. It's not described so completely in the English, but in the Hebrew it's described very completely. So, but anyway. All right. The idea, what's the foundation? Mutual fulfillment. Like, it's not like, it's each one, enjoying each other, for full satisfaction. Supreme affection, absolutely exclusive. Each one sees the other as the only one. So when I have that kind of understanding between my true love, when I have that kind of understanding, then this is what happened. Like I said, purity will pave the way for the passion that God designed for the marriage, for the green bed, for the fresh bed. All right? Okay. You all right? Okay, that's a lily. That's a lily. Like out of all of the, like, now what's that picture there for? This is the picture. Exclusive. Absolutely exclusive. Like when I look at my wife, every other woman looks like the straw to me in terms of a certain other kind of desire. That's the only thing I want in my garden. That's the only flower for me. Absolutely exclusive. That's the heart that you're supposed to have. That's the heart of the relationship between a man and his wife. It's like there's one, just one. And so I focus on that one, and there's other people in the midst, there's other kinds of flowers there, but they aren't my flower. This is the only flower for me. That flower's in my garden, and my fountain only visits that garden. So, all right, husband's heart picture. As the lily is among the thorns, so is my love among the daughters. Here, she already said, I'm the rose of Sharon, I'm the lily of the valleys, and the answer here is the husband is answering. They're singing a song back and forth to each other. And so she says, like a lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters. So is my love. There's nobody like you. Nobody. There's only one flower like that. Only one flower that I see that way. All right? All right, next one. Okay, what is that? Oh, that's the covering of the man. This is the apple tree. All right, where does she go? She goes under the tree. When she enters into this kind of relationship, it says that he overshadows her. The shadow of his tree and his fruit is pleasant to my taste. So he overshadows her, and there's whatever. Just let your imagination go. Just think about it that way. But this is what it's saying. Like I said, the bed is green. It's always fresh. What goes there, goes there. And in the context of marriage, anything goes there. So when the man is covering his wife as the authority figure in the home, and he's covering his wife also as the physically, in terms of what's happening in the marriage bedroom. All right? Okay. A bride's heart picture. As the apple tree among the trees of wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with my great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. All right? So she's already begging for his kisses, So this is the progression of love that's happening there. So, you okay? You all got really quiet. Are you fearful? Don't worry, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. I know you're all like, none of us will look at each other. Don't look at anybody. All right? Then we won't get weird about it. Okay? Don't look at it. You guys, don't look at me if you're on there. Okay. All right. All right. The strength of love. All right. Love is as strong as death. This is a powerful thing. Love is as strong as death. It's like, that seems like such a creepy thing to say. Not in the ancient world. It's like, what he's saying is like, my love for you is as sure as death. It's like there is nothing more permanent in the earth than death. Really, people die. It happens. And I'm just going to tell you, my love is as strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. That's another thing. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which has a most vehement flame of Yahweh. And many waters cannot quench love, nor the floods drown it. Like now, when you see the floods, floods in the Bible often talk about like people. Many people's and conversation. There can be a flood of conversation, there can be a flood of sound, there can be a flood of people. But if your love is right, if God has brought you the one true one, you have found each other, or God has, well, that's not the right way to say it. God has made it happen and brought you together, then no amount of noise, no amount of people are going to quench this kind of love. It can't be drowned by the natural things that try to come in between people. That's why you put a ring on our finger. There's no corners in a ring, right? No, nothing is hidden in the corner. When you get married, you have a ring on your finger because everything is in the middle. It's in the circle. There's nothing hiding in the corners. Everything is right there. There's no corners. And no matter what is said, no matter what kind of noise comes, it's not going to drown the kind of love you have for each other when you've reached that place. Okay, the way of the husband. Listening? Guys, here we go. Initiation, the approach of a gentleman. There is intimacy. It's the closeness with honesty. It's intensity, the strengthening of desire, and irresistible. This is how you see her. This is how you say, the thing is I love you so much that I don't want to take my fountain anywhere else. This is the garden I belong to. This is where I'm staying. And this, a man can teach himself. Like if his picture in his mind is like that, that's the only flower for me, everything else is straw in terms of that part of my being. If that's the image that you have in your heart and mind, then it won't be a problem. The initiation will come as gently and as consistently as possible. The intimacy will follow that initiation. The intensity will follow all of that. And then it's like you'll want to be there again. Just like she's saying at the beginning, you'll want to be there again. You'll want to be back in that situation again. You'll say, our bed is green. Our bed is fresh. We're going back there again. That's where we belong. All right. All right. The ways of the bride. What is she? Her ears hear the words. Her ears hear the words. Her arms are open at his presence. That's the response. She finds the shelters. There's a reliance on her. That she relies on him for the security of her life. And then there's a respect. There's an honor with confidence. It's leading her. All right? How you doing? You okay? 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. This is when it gets really good. No. All right. What's the experience of love? Rest. All right? Rest, joy, courage. All right? All right? So this is rest, joy, courage. Okay. Essence of the home is order, openness, opportunity. Okay? When there's order in the home and there's openness, then there's opportunity. So when there are no secrets, when the relationship is pure, then there's the opportunity. Like if there's things between a husband and a wife, and that's what Song of Solomon teaches, when there's things between a husband and a wife, then the initiations get disorganized, and then there's no openness, and then there's no opportunity. She doesn't see the bed as being green, and she doesn't want the kisses are not like wine to her when there's disorder and there's a lack of where there's secrecy. Essence of there's laughter, singing, sensation in that order. It's like you laugh a lot, you get yourself pepperoni pizza at Pizza John's and a big Pepsi, and you laugh a lot. You rejoice with the wife of your youth. Laugh and great memories, and that's a lot of singing together, and then, everything else, follows. Sensation. And then there's courage. There's an essence of union. There's a readiness. There's a commitment. There's a victory that happens in us. There's a victory that happens. So there's a courage that you gotta win that fight sometimes, guys. Men have to win that fight sometimes. There's got to be some courage. Women, sometimes the man comes home and he's been beat up at work. It's like there's got to be a readiness, a commitment, and a victory. Like I said, that's why I think it's so powerful that the woman speaks a lot here. Like she is not like a passive person in this. The husband is initiating, but the woman is responding, and she's the one saying at the beginning, kiss me now, because I'd like to be a little bit drunk with what you've got on your lips. I'd like to do that. All right, next. All right, so the timing of love. All right, this is the thing. I charge you. Song of Solomon 2:7, 3:5, 8:4. She says this. This is like the caution. Okay, I'm saying a lot about the passion and everything like that, just how amazing it is, because, I want you to enjoy that if that's your destiny. If that's part of the purpose of God for you, you need to enjoy it and enjoy it in its fullness. And she's saying, this is the caution, like, don't stir it up. Don't stir it up in the wrong way. This kind of self-stimulation, watching these things on the internet, those kind of things. Don't awaken that kind of passion at the wrong time. Don't trifle with something sacred. Sex is a sacred, sacred thing. It's a sacred thing. It's the mission that God gave man and woman to multiply with. It's like, don't. The devil is a liar. He's made it tawdry, cheap, something that you can just like use for any kind of gratification, but it's not that way. Be waiting, be watching, be willing. That's the big thing. The pattern of love. There is a meeting in the courtship. That's the beginning. That's what this first part talks about. There's the marriage and then the consummation. There's difficulties and some resolution. And then there's a deepening and a maturity of the marriage over time. So, okay, where are we going here next? Okay, let's go. Okay, chapter 4 is the consummation. They have courtship, they have a consummation, and now this is like, it's very telling, just the way the beloved talks to him. He's doing most of the talking in this chapter. Solomon is, the groom. Behold, you are fair, my love. Here's the initiation, the gentle words. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Mount Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn sheep that have come up from the whitening. Boy, he had to really extend that metaphor, didn't he? It's like, I want you to get the right picture. Your sheep, it's not like the dirty sheep that have been rolling in the mud. It's like the sheep that are all like neatly shorn and they've come up from the washing. Like all your little teeth are like little white sheep there, Little lammies, little lammies. Oh, little lammies. I want to kiss you. You got those little lammies, all right? There you go. Your lips are like a strand of scarlet. Your mouth is lovely. Your temples behind your veil are like a piece of pomegranate. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built for an armory, which hang on 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Like she's got a necklace on. Okay. He's working his way down. Okay? I'm just telling you, he's working his way down. This is like, all right, he's looking into her eyes. That's lovely. He's looking at her lips and her teeth. He's playing with her hair. But then we get your two breasts. They're like two fawns, twins of a gazelle that feed among the lilies. It's like, he's just saying, this is my garden and I'm going to enjoy it. And until the day breaks, the shadow flees away, I will go, okay, to the mountain of myrrh. Okay, he's working his way down. That's all I'm telling you. There, and to the hill of frankincense. All right? I'm just telling you, there is, what is the right word? There are fragrances. The act of love produces fragrances. And so, as he's playing with her hair, as he's enjoying the rest of her body, as he's going through this process of loving her, I should keep my hands together. And then there is myrrh and frankincense. It's like myrrh and frankincense, like the perfumes of our love are starting to fill the room. Our bed is green, and now it is filled with this fragrance. So that's the meeting, that's the courtship, and now, you are all fair, my love. There's no spot in you. And now he's got this. This is their wedding night. This is the fulfillment of their vows. But here's the thing: you have ravished my heart. Listen to what he says 3 times. This is an important point to make. My sister, my spouse, you have ravished my heart. One look of your eyes, one link of your necklace, how fair is your love. My sister, my spouse. How much better than wine is your love? They're on the same page. Your kisses are better than wine. Your love is better than wine. So they realize that this experience is much better than anything that we could buy on the liquor shelf, right? This is the most, and this is like, and you're wondering why it's such a powerful thing. It is. It's like God made it that way because he wanted people, why? To do it again and again and again. Okay, my sister, my spouse, a garden enclosed, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed. This is like he's saying, this is mine. This is mine. This is mine, and I'm going to enjoy it. And but that's that thing. My sister, my spouse. That's the order it's said here. My sister, my spouse. My sister, my spouse. You shouldn't even entertain the idea of marrying an unbeliever. So when you marry a believer, she is your sister, and she always will be. That's why divorce in the church is like, uncomfortable, tragic, strange, because, even though you're not spouses anymore, you're still sisters and brothers, always will be. So my sister, my spouse, if I have this understanding that she is first my sister and she belongs to God in the same way that I belong to God as one of his sons, then, and she's a daughter of God, then this idea, the spouse part of it will take care of itself. So sister and spouse. Okay, so vivid descriptions, captivated hearts, my sister, my spouse, that happens here. All right, now there is the next part. You know that there is the, later on in this, in chapter 5, there is the trouble that sometimes comes in the relationship, in that relationship. Solomon comes, he comes to the door, and he is ready to go and be with his wife, but she is, she says, I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping. He knocks. Open for me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one. My head is covered with dew. I've been outside. I want to come and sleep with you. That's verse 2 of chapter 5. And she says, I've taken off my robe, and I can't put it on again. I've washed my feet. I'm not walking across the dirty floor to open the door to you. And, it says that my beloved put his hand by the latch of the door, and my heart yearned for him. I arose to open, but he left. Okay, so this can happen. Like the initiation can be refused. And then the response here, this is the great response that happens. What is it? She goes out and looks. I opened for my beloved had turned, and he was gone. My heart leaped when he spoke, but I sought, I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer. The watchmen went about the city. They found me. They struck me. They wounded me. The keeper of the walls took my veil from me. I charge you, daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you are lovesick. Tell him that I am lovesick. I want him now. I missed that opportunity, but now I'm looking for him. And the daughters of Jerusalem started answering the right questions. That's the answer of the church, always. Like when there is trouble in the relationship, the daughters of Jerusalem ask the right question. Why is your beloved better than others, O fairest among women? What is your beloved more than other beloved, so that I charge you? My beloved is white and ruddy, chief among 10,000. His head is like the finest gold. His locks are wavy, black as a raven. His eyes are like dove's eyes, by the rivers of water, washed with milk, fitly set. His cheeks are like a bed of spices, banks of scented herbs. His lips are like lilies, dripping liquid myrrh. His hands are rods of gold, set with beryl, and his body is carved ivory, inlaid with sapphires. His legs are pillars of marble, set on bases of fine gold. His countenance is like Lebanon, excellent as the cedar. His mouth is most sweet. He is altogether lovely. This is my beloved. This is my friend, all daughters of Jerusalem. So she goes through this whole picture of who he is, and she goes out and she finds him again. It's amazing. She goes out and finds him again. And where is your beloved? Verse chapter 6, fairest among women. Where is he gone? They ask the right questions. She describes him in the right way, and then they want to go find him. He's feeding among the lilies. I am my beloved's. My beloved is mine. He feeds his flock among the lilies. So she goes and they find him, and then they come back together. So that's the trouble sometime. All right, let's see, where are we at? Okay, there you go. That's a dove's eye. You're wondering those pictures? That's a dove's eye. That's a flock of goats. If you're wondering how the... that's a little flock of sheep. Like there, that's what her teeth look like, right? And oh, now we get to, okay, now the maturity of love. I want to see this part, the maturity of love. Okay, chapter 7 is the maturity of love, okay? How beautiful, he doesn't lose his sense of passion for her. Listen to this. All right, now we're going to talk about curves, bellies, and belly buttons. All right, that's what happens. Like, as you know, if you go look in the masterpieces and you go into any of the museums and you look at masterpieces painted years ago, you don't find like, Kate Moss models that were painted. Most of the women like look like they had children and they look like they grew naturally. They're not like stick figures. So listen to what he talks about. He loves her feet. It's like this is how his love has grown. How beautiful are your feet in sandals. It's like, I love your feet. It's amazing. The curves of your thighs, they're like jewels. Got to keep my hands together. The hands of a skilled workman. Like, who made your hips like that? Who made you look like that? You were made just for me. Your navel is like a rounded goblet. That's a rounded goblet. And your belly is like a heap of wheat. Okay, surrounded by lilies, okay? So I'm just telling you, as she grows older, you appreciate her body for what it is then. What it was then and what it is now. And that's, and what it will be or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much maybe. But look, I love your feet. I love the curves. I love the navel is a rounded goblet. It lacks no blended beverage. I'm not even going to pretend to guess what that means. But your belly is a heap of wheat surrounded. And back to the breasts again, are like two fawns, and your neck is like an ivory tower. So all of those. How pleasant you are, O love, with your delights. How pleasant you are, love, with your delights. So she's got a little older. She looks different. But how pleasant is your love with delights. It still delights him. All right? There's pomegranate cheeks. There we go. There's a heap of wheat. So you can just get your image there of that. And just go on that. Okay, now for him, his hair is as dark as a raven. That's the rose of balsam, the spices that are his, and his lips are like two lilies. That's the way she sees his lips. His hands are like gold hands. Look at that. She's being held by gold. She's being held by gold hands. Boy, he needs a manicure. That guy needs. That's one thing that maybe she could help him with. Anyway, his legs are like two pillars, and that's the thing. Okay, what do we need to know? All right, what do we need to know? I think we explained it pretty well for you. What do we need to know? All right, we'll say this one thing. I'm going to say this one thing here about, what did I say? The singleness. I just want to say that marriage, you should, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Specific guidelines if you're being single and seeking marriage. There should be seasons of your life when you are available to marriage. If singleness is a gift, then you won't have a desire for the garden. All right? That's one thing. Let's see. You should also have people in your life, godly counsel. So, godly counsel. And, you should strive to be balanced. Like we said earlier, you should be willing. You should be waiting. You should be willing and available if God has that for you. If God has that for you. Like I said in one church service, I said, you can have a ring on your finger or the thorn in your flesh. There are things in a marriage that'll turn you into a mature believer a lot more pleasantly and delightfully because you get that whole other part of life. And then, there's other parts of it too, but you'll become a more mature, I'm just saying, I believe, it's my conviction that 9 out of 10 people should be married. It's like we are still commanded to be fruitful and multiply. It's something that we're supposed to get married, have families. It should happen. That's my conviction. That's not a Greater Grace World Outreach conviction. It's not a Bible college conviction. That's my conviction. But God is going to find a way to make you mature. Now, if you get a ring on your finger and you get all the other beautiful stuff, you get the girl with the teeth that are like sheep. That's amazing. And the guy with Raven's hair. And, maybe you don't want Raven's hair right now, especially the way we're playing football. But anyway, maybe you want, that kind of thing. All right? All right? Okay, if you're single, strive to be balanced. Don't be like, say, I'm going to be this way always. Don't allow yourself to have a deep emotional involvement with a non-believing person of the opposite sex or anyone of the present sex, of your same sex, I should say. Maybe you shouldn't have to say that, but we have to say it. Look for attraction in the most comprehensive sense. Don't look for physical attraction. Look for the whole package, how to laugh. And don't romanticize things so quickly. Like, let the relationship develop in the right way. And really, watch, if you're in a community, let that community help you. If you're in a church, let the church help you and guide you in that kind of thing. Okay, what do we need to know? The experience of love is rest, joy, and courage. The revelation of true love reveals the heart of the highest religious experience. The institution of marriage is under attack. That's why we need to know it. And the world needs to see supreme affection in action between a husband and wife, between fathers and mothers, communicated to their children. Be waiting, be watching, be willing to establish important, intimate relationships. Because if you're on your own, you're going to be like Ecclesiastes. You're going to be going from thing to thing, and it's going to be empty. You can have fulfilling, important relationships. Recognize those relationships. These are the true foundations of society. A husband and a wife who love each other, having an exciting, intimate sex life are powerful forces in the community. They are happy, they are healthy, they are effective, and people have to see them. Have children, raise them in the fear of the Lord. And I think you know enough about how to have children. And God said, be fruitful and multiply. Passion, abandonment, and fidelity in homes and in faith glorifies God. That's it. It's like, don't believe the lie. We were made for it. The fall, they ran into the woods and covered up the very things that God had made on their person to be used in their mission to be fruitful and multiply. And the devil's been lying about that relationship since that time. That relationship is pure, it is powerful, it is exciting, it is better than wine. It is the most powerful thing that God has instituted in terms of human relationship. And that's why it's so sacred, that's why it has to be treated so carefully, that's why this book is written. Because God is putting it right at the end of the books of wisdom. Like, if you have right wisdom, you're going to find the right woman and the right man, and you are going to enjoy her. You are going to enjoy him. It is going to be an amazing garden. The green bed is going to be fresh always, undefiled. There's going to be freedom, joy. You're not going to be held back in any area. And that's going to be a great thing. And that produces relaxed, confident people who make a difference in the world. All right? That's all. You want to change the world? Find the woman of your dreams. Have a happy honeymoon and a happy life. That's one message. And there's a lot of other things in the purpose of God. Amen? Amen. All right. Thank you, Lord, for all that you've revealed to us tonight. Watch over us, care for us, lead us in your name. Amen. Okay. Thank you.